Today I fricked up. Demorag says. Today I fricked up, got fired for asking for a raise. Not today but a couple weeks ago. I was at this company for over a year, first 3 months with a temp agency. I was a production team member on paper. They had me running the area I was in as a trainer for new temps, and as a lead, directing the team what to do. I also was handling inbound orders and parts inventory. Everyone was expected to train new people at this company, so I wasn't concerned about that. However, the responsibilities of a lead, handling orders and parts inventory are responsibilities that were put directly on me. I also learned Google Sheets specifically to improve their spreadsheets and make them more user-friendly when looking up parts or seeing what we had in inventory. I designed brand new sheets and implemented processes that improved productivity across all of production. After a year, I asked some of my coworkers and they agreed that with everything I do, I should be making much more than I was. I wrote a well thought out and detailed message to my boss explaining why I felt a raise was justified at this time. After meeting with him a couple times, my raise was declined. I was told that my pay rate is competitive. To be honest, I'm not good at handling my emotions when the unexpected happens. So when this information hit me like a freight train, I broke down. I went home and spent the weekend trying to understand. When I got it on Monday, I decided I would do the job I was paid to do and not all the extra that I wasn't being compensated for. I requested a meeting with my boss to explain where I stand on this. After lunch we went into a meeting and I was told I'm not a culture fit and got fired. Now, over 2 weeks and 60 plus applications later, and I can't even get an interview. Too long, didn't read, requested compensation for additional responsibilities, got declined, quit, got fired, can't find work now. Update for clarification, I didn't ever get a chance to tell my boss I was quitting. That day I went about doing my job and nothing extra. I was planning to talk to him about it, but instead of getting the chance in the meeting, I got fired. Update 2, thank you for all the replies. I understand that in future, I need to not be as vocal about my thoughts and keep my emotions in check if possible. 5 mental health conditions makes it a little hard sometimes. I also will make sure I'm better prepared before coming to my boss with documentation showing what I have improved and how it impacted production and exactly what I handle on a day-to-day basis and possible an offer in hand. I do have unemployment set up already for those that mentioned it. Thanks again for the support and yelling at me for being a dumbass with a big Babafatox says. It sucks this happened. Can I point out, the quiet part of quitting is not telling the boss what you're doing. Chance Vegetable 780 says. In other words, don't go to your boss to explain where you stand on all this. The reality is, they often don't care, they just want the job done. I understand that you gave so much to this job, and I'm sorry that they did not approve your raise and appreciate your efforts. But it could be a gift, because hopefully you will land at a company that does value your efforts and abilities. I suggest highly that you find an older, experienced person who you can trust to guide you in how to handle things in the business/corporate world. So, someone who has worked in the types of companies you've worked at and want to work at. Someone that you can run things by when issues come up. You may have to develop this relationship or relationships. Some comments are pretty cold here, just learn and move on. File for unemployment now. Give yourself big hugs. Best wishes. Demorag says. I filed for unemployment the day I got fired. My dad had been fired prior to me, and it took him a month to find something. Ratinglogid2 says. That sucks and is really rough. However, you may want to do some personal work on. To be honest, I'm not good at handling my emotions when the unexpected happens. Not trying to sound callous, but how could this have been unexpected? You ask for a raise. There are two possible outcomes, yes and no. Being so sure you are getting a raise, that is in no way guaranteed. That you have an emotional breakdown is not going to serve you in any field and any job moving forward. As someone else also pointed out, quiet quitting is where you are quiet about what you are going to start slacking on. This is a good lesson. Telling your boss, well, I'm gonna stop doing all these tasks you are asking me to do, is a surefire way to get fired. When turned down for a raise, you should ask what you can be doing to make sure you get it next time, not telling the boss, well, I ain't doing shit extra then, and I will see you Monday. Hungry Cupcake says, I was planning on quitting anyway, thought I'd ask for a raise, since they wanted me to move to a manager position. They declined. I'd be same salary as the people I was training. My manager was on a higher salary, and he was hoping to get me to take his job for a smaller amount, so he would get the promotion into another department. I quiet quit and left 3 months later after all my ducks were in a row. The reason for wanting to quit? I asked all my coworkers for their salary. I was severely underpaid by almost 30%. I asked for my coworker's salary, who wasn't going to manage the department. It was 30k vs 23k. My manager was on 38. Shit is wild, yo. r/today I fricked up. Milbert says, today I fricked up be drinking mushroom coffee before a college trip. So I recently got back to school in order to help with orientation for the new students. The school likes us to go on a team building trip before we start our training. I'm being purposely vague about school and location of trip because I know many people on here from said school. Anyways, I'm a lover of mushroom coffee. I can't have normal coffee due to a neurological condition and it tastes fairly similar and iced and grainy. It also was advertised to help with gut health. Before I tried the product I didn't know what that meant. But I was quick to find out in the first few weeks of my body getting used to it. About 5 minutes about I finished, and 8-ounce cup of it with a portion of the powder I would have the devil's lava pouring out of my rear. Whenever I eat mushrooms in general it did this to me, but never to this degree. I got used to it eventually, and would factor that time into my morning routine. Even though it might sound inconvenient, it is really nice to have your movements come like clockwork, especially when a lot of my classes are labs and it's really annoying to stop to use the toilet. This brings us to today. I had been slacking on my mushroom coffee intake over school break and wanted to get back on track for school. My dumbass did not consider its laxative effects the morning of the field trip. There are about 45 of us on a coach bus and we realize someone is missing. We wind up waiting 40 minutes for this girl to wake up and get on the bus. Then I was as annoyed as everyone else about having to wait for so long, because now we would hit rush hour and only have 3 hours actually doing stuff at the trip. It was as I was coming to this realization I knew I ed up. I'm feeling that familiar gurgle and discomfort, but I try to lock in reading my book. There was no way in hell I was destroying the bus bathroom, let alone 15 minutes into the drive. As the drive persisted I got more and more restless. Shifting my legs trying to stop the enviable, playing on my phone, listening to, looking out the window, chatting with people nearby, anything to take my mind off of the carnage brewing in my guts. I'm regularly checking Google Maps to see how long it's going to be. I'm fighting a battle I'm not sure I will win when finally we get to our destination. Riding this turd like a cowboy I'm now. Clenching cheeks getting off the bus, grabbing my lunch, and half race walking half waddling to get our tickets scanned. I tell my friends I'll meet up with them in a bit and am frantically looking for a bathroom. It is as I step foot in the threshold of the bathroom, a slight step up, that a small landing strip of mud paints my pants. I'm pleading with people to let me go ahead of them in line. Of course the women's bathroom always has a line. I get in the stall to let out the shit that's been brewing for the whole 2 hours and 40 minutes we were in the bus and see the damage. At this point I want to cry, but then I remember in my bag of period products I have an extra pair of underwear. Profusely thanking my mom that suggested the idea of backup unders, I shamefully threw the old pair out, used my emergency wet wipes also in said bag, and left the crime scene like nothing ever happened. Too long. Didn't read. I drank mushroom coffee before a nearly 3-hour bus ride without having had it in a while. Mushroom coffee has a laxative effect for some people if you don't have a tolerance to it. I was not able to hold it and shit myself in the doorway of the bathroom to. Hey, it's Spinach says. So you can actually manage regularity without regularly shitting hot lava. W0 Batina says. This is not where I thought the story was going by mentioning mushroom coffee, but it was a fun ride nonetheless. Dipth Ninja says. Bad trip regardless. Black Death Zombie says. Whenever I eat mushrooms in general it did this to me. Listen here, I'm saying this as gentle as possible. I love mushrooms, but it has never ever had a laxative effect on me. Never. Not for 40 years. You likely have a mushroom intolerance. PK 12345 says. I don't think when they say it's good for gut health that's what it means. Are you sure everyone who consumes that have the same laxative effect? Sounds like this is bad for your gut. McCoffey says. Yeah, sounds like Op has some kind of mushroom intolerance. Quercus Ambucus says. Why do you drink this stuff if it has that effect? Seems like your body is trying to tell you it's bad for you. Junkai Arms says. Riding that turd like a cowboy. Lemon Chicken 207 says. The bus had a bathroom and you didn't use it. Throwaway Friar Mother says. To be fair, I wouldn't want to be locked in a bus for 2 hours plus with whatever legendary shit was brewing in Op's gut. The smell was probably atrocious. Marriage04 says. TIFU by ignoring your food intolerance. Doobie0usdoc says. Yeah, I love mushrooms and I love coffee, but I have found that mushroom coffee is literal gut poison. Aslip Independent 42 says. I'm just astonished by everyone waiting 40 minutes for one late arsehole. I consider 15 minutes the absolute maximum of wait time. W1D0WM4K3R says. So wait, this is mushroom coffee and not mushroom coffee, yeah? Bulganan says. You're trying too hard. Chefatorius says. Did it only get on your undies, not your pants? PRW8201 says. So my wife has issues with constipation. What exactly did you add to your coffee? 2Shadow2 says. / inevitable. Close bracket. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.